Hello and welcome to Dice Masters United. I'm Spug.
I'm Ben.
I'm James.
And I'm Peter.
Coming up in this episode,
we're starting a rundown of all the cards in the Dark Phoenix set, which are the must-haves and which are just for the collectors.
We'll be focusing on the commons in this expansion and weighing up the value of each card in draft and constructed play.
All that and more in the latest episode of Dice Masters United.
Alright, well, as we record this episode, the Dark Phoenix expansion is about to be unleashed upon the expectant public, and players in North America should have their eager mitts on the product by the time this episode is published.
This is the future calling. As we are now aware, the Dark Phoenix Saga set has been delayed once more. Therefore, any further references to mitts, fingers, or contact with actual product should be roundly disregarded.
Actually, I say eager mitts. Can your mitts be eager? Maybe I should say
eagle
they are eagerly.
Not birds again.
Eagerly. I didn't say eagle mitts. Maybe I should say they have been eagerly placing their mitts on the product. Anyway,
sticky fingers.
Yeah, maybe.
Sticky
Personification.
Whatever part of their body they've been using, they should have been putting something on them and opening draft packs, which we are probably very jealous over here in Europe. But all the common cards have been spoiled in this expansion or scene, and as you the listeners have demanded, we thought it was time to start another epic rundown of all the cards in the expansion, as we did for the Infinity Gauntlet set what seems like about 10 years ago. So we're going to go through all the non-BAC commons and give our thoughts on each before moving on to the other rarities in later episodes. So guys, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you sound very ready. You sound about as ready as a half-asleep badger. Anyway,
so how James is normally then.
Yeah, no change.
No, but this is exciting. This is the first time we've had new stuff to play with for. Well, not that we've got it.
Hopefully, it's coming out in Europe sooner than in the UK sooner than you were saying.
Yeah, let's certainly hope so. So, shall we get into it? Let's start with the first card. James, over to you for the first common card of the Dark Phoenix expansion.
The first common card is Angel, Wings Over the World. He's a 2-cost shield with the X-Men affiliation. He's got the stats of 022, 133, and 134. And his text reads, Energize. Target sidekick die gets +2 attack this turn.
Yes. What do you think about it? Do you love it?
I like the artwork.
Don't stop that again.
No, I do. It's really nice.
It is.
It's got Angel on one side. It's like split between Angel and Archangel, I think. He was the and a nice bit of sort of stained glass going on in the background. So check out the artwork on our spoilers page, or even in your hands if you're
exactly.
If you're lucky.
And the dice is 2-tone, which might be nice.
It is.
It's a bit sicky coloured, to be honest. But do I like it? It's all right. I mean, it's a 2-cost, so what's not? It's a 2-cost with. Yeah, they are pretty reasonable stats, aren't they? Three.
Angels always have good stats.
2 or 3, yeah.
Yes, I can confirm that they are decent stats.
Tell us.
I did the calculations, and it gets a 2.13 on the Homesh scale.
Ooh,
so that's
good.
Better than average, for sure.
You might want to explain what that is again. For not heard it before.
It's a calculation. It's technically for blank cards, but I use it on non-blank cards as well because technically this is sort of blank if you run it on a character. I like to check if it's any good regardless of the abilities. And you add up all the stats and the attack and defense, and then you take the average and you divide that by the cost plus the average fielding cost, and then you get a number. And if that number is higher than 2, then it is a good card. Stat.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Fair
a good. That's a nice one.
So good cost, good stats. Not really massively interested in the text, but in draft, it's not useless. If it turns up on energy, you get to do something with it.
Yeah.
Well, Speaking of numbers, it's kind of fun that this is a max 5. Then the other version, the uncommon is max 4, the rare is max 3, and the super rare is max 2.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Down.
That's kind of unusual, actually, isn't it? I think.
It is. Definitely the other versions are better than, well, not the super rare, but the other versions are better than this version.
We will see.
Or are they? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or will be
he is a
revealed.
founder, isn't he? It's not on this card, but he is a founder.
Yeah.
Avenger. X-Man. Sorry.
X-Man.
Apologies.
He was.
Is that why he gets... Is there any relationship between the max 5 and that? Or is that just random?
Well, I guess the max 5 is useful because you're wanting to roll a bunch of these, right? Like, theoretically, it'd be pretty fun. I mean, it would never happen. If you could buy all 5 of these and then roll them all to energy face and then give a psychic plus 10 attack, it's pretty fun.
You think they've actually tied it to the utility, like the number of that they've taken that into?
This one seems to be a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be pretty cool. Seeing a sidekick take on a god catcher.
11 attack, yeah.
A plucky sidekick, I think.
Indeed, yeah, more than just plucky. So yeah, overall that's a pretty good start. I think he's a decent card. He's got good stats. He'd certainly be one you consider taking early in a draft without any question or hesitation. I would venture to suggest.
Not early, but
fairly early.
Along the line. Yeah.
Second pick. You need a 2 cost.
Yeah.
You do.
If I don't take it second pick, I never get a 2 cost. That's
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Very good. So that is Angel. Ben, do you want to take us on to Beast?
Well, I definitely probably take this one over the Angel, which is Beast, Brawny, and Brainy. 2 cost Fist, X-Men affiliation, 021, 122, 132, so slightly weaker defense, and level 2, slightly worse than the Angel. It just has Overcrush, which is, I mean, it's okay. The Beast on 132 with Overcrush is pretty good for a 2 cost. Again, adds all the benefits that the Angel at 2 cost does. And you can pump this one. Overcrush is a really good ability.
Yeah.
And this would be fun, actually, as a second choice, speaking outside of draft. Because in draft, I think this is a really solid card. But outside draft with the Jerry Lawler Global. And like as a backup to a Becky kind of team, just that you throw on as a cheap fist.
Yeah.
Really, really solid.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in a vacuum, it doesn't seem that impressive, but if you get a bunch of ways of pumping this, then it can be very scary.
Definitely. And there'll certainly be other ways of, there are other cards, as we know, within this set that give a buff to other X-Men characters. Isn't there a super rare? I can't remember which one it is. Somebody help
Kitty
me.
Pryde.
Kitty Pryde, thank you. Yeah, the Kitty Pryde super rare gives all your other X-Men characters +1/+1.
Kitty Pryde. Rare Cable.
Oh,
Cable
yeah.
attacks double the printed attack of all of your other character dice.
Good shout, James.
So this is all stuff in draft, which is really good. Although they're rares and super rares, but like just outside in constructed, it's really strong. Like it could be, you wouldn't have it as your main win condition probably.
No.
But people were excited about the Black Widow that had Overcrush, which was a 3 cost. And that one could be blocked by Sidekicks, which is another boon. But this is very similar to that card, and costs 1 less. So
I suppose if the stats are okay on a 2 cost, then even if it has anything, any ability at all, it's just a bonus, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Overcrush is a really strong ability, especially in current constructed.
Yeah, and I feel like, this combined with things like Hope Rachel and that kind of, those sort of X-Men-y sort of combos where, you're looking for other sort of cheap utility characters that you could, cheap X-Men characters that you can sort of knock out and might do something else useful. I think this Beast could be pretty decent.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Cool. Yep. All right, Peter, give us Bishop, will you?
Yes, we have Bishop Tortured Timeline. It's a 4-cost shield with the X-Men affiliation. He has a 125, 136, 256 stat line. And his ability says, opposing effects can't cause Bishop to be rerolled or cause you to spin a Bishop die up or down.
What are your thoughts on this?
It's not that exciting. If he would protect more stuff than just himself, that would be really interesting against Becky, for example.
Yeah.
And some of the other spin down removal that we have these days.
Yeah.
But it in a pinch, it could be a pretty solid blocker against Spider-Mans and such, and Danny Moonstars, that sort of thing. They can't re-roll him.
Yeah, just to be clear, I mean, this is not going to be... This is going to stop a spin down to energy in terms of Pip the Troll and Spider-Man and those kind of ones.
Yeah.
Two words would have made this card phenomenal.
Go on.
Iron Will.
Right.
If we just had Iron Will,
those
opposing effects can't cause. So it had that extra defense against Becky. It wouldn't have made it unstoppable because you could have used one global to ping it or something.
Yeah.
But it needs that extra protection against the kind of overcrush.
Yeah. What is
Iron Will? It probably not loads of our listeners probably won't have even heard that because it's so old.
From the what was it from? What set was it from? The one World's Finest. I think was the first set that had it with the Steel from World's Finest.
Yeah.
I think had. Iron Will is basically this character can't be knocked out unless it's been previously damaged that turn.
Yeah.
So I was saying you could use something like the one global, which is kind of a ping global. You do 1 damage to a character and pay 1 life. But you could ping the Bishop if Bishop had Iron Will, and then do your overcrush damage, and then that would knock it out. But if you didn't do that ping first, the Bishop wouldn't be knocked out, and therefore overcrush wouldn't apply, because overcrush has to remove the character or knock it out.
Yeah.
So I think that would have made this card go from maybe C. I don't know what everyone else is thinking, but mid-range, kind of okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool, but not brilliant. Meta-relevant.
As Peter says, if it applied to more than just him, if it was...
Yeah.
Then it'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would have been, wow.
All your dice is maybe asking a bit too much, but at least affiliated
X-Men
dice
or something, yeah.
Yeah. I might even pay 5 for it if it did that, but I'm not going to pay 4 for that.
No.
I think there's better ways to achieve.
If he was a 2-cost or something, then fine. That might actually be useful as someone who could...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Survive the Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, give you something useful. But yeah, he's just a bit too... He's a bit too self-obsessed. That's his problem. He's not thinking about the others. And this Bishop looks way different to the other Bishop. You know, we had a Bishop before, didn't we? That in the earlier set, obviously the one that prevented all the damage. All the non-combat damage. He looked very different. I mean,
talking about card art.
Yeah,
card art's terrible on this. I hate the card art.
I don't have the art up.
But it's definitely one of the... We were talking about this. The card art that could have been cool if it was not,
terrible.
It's a bit rubbish.
Yeah. It's so, cropped badly. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's someone's shoulder hanging halfway.
But anyway, let's not talk about the art too much.
Let's not. Shall we move on to Blink? James, it's back to you. Blink. Read us the full text, will you please, for Blink?
I will. Blink is a skilled combatant. She's a 3-cost mask, again with the X-Men affiliation. The stats are 013, 123, and 135. She's a max 3, and she has no text.
Yeah. So, Peter, where is she on the Homash scale? She's a blank.
Yeah, she's not that great on there. But I will add that she has very high defensive stats, but very low attack stats, so that kind of skews the rating. She gets a 1.54, so that's not good.
That's not great.
No.
So she's a blank 3-cost with not very good stats. She's probably not going to be
there might be a trend here.
Speaking of a blank 3 cost,
yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah,
I have Blob, depowered for M Day, which is Mutant Day, which is a thing in the comics, right? It's 3 cost shield, no affiliation, 015116 218. So bigger but less attack, if that matters, and he is blank as well. He has a slightly better home match rating of 1.83, but still not a card worth taking.
I will say that it's very thematic with that title that he has no text because he's depowered.
That's true.
Good shout.
He's a big dude.
He is massive. I mean,
big dude's not going to go anywhere.
There's somebody in his. There's somebody else in that picture. Oh, we're talking about art again. But there's another person in the picture who looks tiny, isn't it? Not even coming up to his thighs. But anyway.
I think that's perspective. But
is it?
It's sad. It is sad that when you had that 3 cost blob with it from the I have no idea what set it was from. The one that kind of X-Men Forever.
X-Men Forever?
Yeah. Where you feel that it captures all the sidekicks as well.
Yeah.
These are both rubbish. Who cares?
These are not very good, and we wouldn't recommend taking them even in draft. That's
that blob. You might take as like a third to last pick is just like, okay, this can just sit in my field and be a defensive guy.
Interestingly, it hasn't even got an affiliation of any description. At least the Uncommon's got the Brotherhood of Mutants, so you could at least do some team watch stuff. Or yes, yeah. Good point.
I would just to skip back to Blink in draft. I might, I'd take that if there were no more 2 costs and I didn't have any cheap dice.
This is a 3 cost. Would you take the Blink? Okay, would you take the Blink over the Blob though?
Well, at least I'd be able to field her, which is a thing in draft. I think.
That's true, I guess.
All right, let's move on to Cable, shall we? Peter, it's back to you.
Yes, with Cable, I'll do this all day. He stole that from Captain America. But
sounds like it.
He's a 4-cost Bolt with the X-Men affiliation. He has a 132, 233, 255 stat line. And he has Energize, reroll one of your character dice.
How useful is that?
He has an abysmal home match rating of 1.23. I don't know how useful that ability is. It could be useful on occasion, but probably not worth the 4 cost, I'd say.
No. Should we explain what Energize is? Because I forgot to do it the first time.
Oh, yeah.
So,
go on then.
I just landed myself in it there, haven't I? Yes, if whilst rolling your dice, what is it, at the end? Is it at any point or at the end of your roll and reroll step?
At the end.
At any point.
At any point, his dice comes up as double energy, not single?
Correct.
Double, yeah.
Double, right? Yeah. Double, right. Then his Energize effect must trigger, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm double checking at every stage here.
Thanks for that.
It must trigger, and presumably it triggers immediately, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just to clarify, it happens at the end of your roll and reroll step. You don't get to do it for your initial roll.
But otherwise it would be.
You have to, you have to, at the end of roll and reroll, you have to keep it on the energy face. Then also any other time outside of that.
Right.
Yeah, so if you drew and rolled 2 dice with investigation, for example, and one of them was an energized dice on double energy, you would get to do that then.
So 1 in 3 times.
1 in 3? Yeah, 1 in 3.
Yeah,
because it's got 2 double energy sides, correct. But yeah, we don't really think that this is very useful, I don't think. We don't generally want to be re-rolling. Thanks, James. We don't really want to be re-rolling our own dice generally, do we? Unless there's anything particular.
I suppose you could re-roll something that you didn't roll on the character face, because if it's a character die, it's still a character die, right?
Yeah.
True. That is a good point.
So you could re-roll him if you roll it on double energy, if you want to.
Interestingly enough as well, you could also... so you can
re-roll him, so you've got a better chance of him landing character. That's all right.
But also trigger something else that energizes that turn as well. So you set up the energize of another character, trigger that energize, then trigger Cable energize. So you do the energize, then field it as a character, which is... I can see someone messing with this. I can see me messing with it, and then always getting the energize effect when I just don't want it.
The trouble with energize is, like you say, you only get it a third of the time. It's a little bit too unreliable, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this would be cool if the character was like someone you want to field. You know you're getting that 2/3/3 side, and you're going to have to pay 2 to field like rubbish die. It's just like, well, this is useless.
The stats are horrific.
I hate Cable's stats because he's had some good abilities in the past, but not for the stat cost.
No.
Always he's too expensive.
Yep. Not recommended. Let's move on to Colossus, shall we? James, it's back to you.
Colossus, skilled painter. He's a 5-cost fist with the X-Men affiliation. He's got his usual stats of 144. Well, I say usual. He's got his AVX stats of 144, 165, 287, with sides 2 and 3 having the burst. And he has 2 bits of text, one of which is Overcrush, and the other is Energize. Again, field one of your character dice for free and spin it to level 3.
Do you like it?
Field one of your character dice for free. From where? From reserve?
Presumably it's a character die you rolled as a character face in reserve.
Yes.
Presumably.
Clear,
Presumably.
No. It would be cool if you could just field him on level 3.
It would be interesting as if you got him.
I'd be down with that.
You could read that that way.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's some sort of caveat in the rules about if I seem to remember there might be if it doesn't say, but no, I don't think that's clear enough at all. That could
it's
be.
Not.
I mean, usually the notion is that you go for the sort of weaker interpretation, isn't it? If you're not really sure what it is, and in this case, I think you would have to assume that the weaker interpretation would be it has to already be a character die in the.
Probably.
Otherwise, you would field it on an energy phase, which is impossible.
Yeah.
Exactly. What it means is field one of your characters on a character face.
That's true.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah, but
the trouble is character dice means 2 different things, doesn't it? It's character
What
dice
would be better, I think, is if it said you may field
in
one
your
of your
reserve pool. It needs to specify where from. Then it would be fine.
Yeah.
The cost of your character, one of your characters, is free to field this turn, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, so let's assume it's that. You can.
If it wasn't that, though, this card would be super good.
And be sick, yeah. Exactly.
Level 3 on 3 sides, and it has Overcrush.
Okay, I'll take that.
Super good.
It's not bad, though, is it? I don't think.
It's still
okay.
Right.
I mean, but you've got a 5-cost Overcrush character, with almost Becky level stats. Not quite, but not far off.
For draft, this is very, very good.
Yeah.
For everything else, it's probably not worthwhile.
Yeah, 5-cost Overcrushing draft that's definitely worth taking with those stats.
Yeah. And the fielding costs are also not horrific.
Yep, I like it a lot for draft.
Yeah. Very, very good. Ben, it's back to you with Corsair.
Corsair, recruiting a crew, a 4-cost fist, no affiliation, 034 135 145. When fielded, place the next die you purchase this turn into your bag.
What do you reckon?
I like that it's a when fielded effect with only a 1 fielding cost at most. I don't like the fact that it has a big defense for a when fielded effect. I generally like to have my when fielded effects to have lower things.
Yeah.
It's probably not repeatable enough.
Yeah.
But it's an okay ability. Probably not stuff that's not something that people are going to mess with at full cost. The ability's okay. We've seen it kind of before, I think. And then other stuff does just... Global abilities do it much better than Becky Lynch Global, but they're much better in constructed, so...
There is the Dark Phoenix Global, the universal answer to everything.
Yeah. That and Oscar.
Which means that his defense cost is not such an issue. If you're using for fodder for that, then you're getting cheap stuff. And in fact, you could get something for 2 cheaper from knocking him out.
That's true. You can field him, then KO him, and then get that reduction, and it would go into your bag.
And put that same die in the bag. Yeah. All of that without giving it to your opponent.
What I don't like about putting stuff into my bag is that generally messes up count.
Yeah.
It's much better putting it in your use pile or reserve.
Assumes you count. But yeah.
Well, that's true. Or your opponent isn't playing less dice, as we discovered last time, as a jerk move. Mess you up. Not that I make any judgments about that, but
No, it sounds like it.
But no, it's okay.
That was a very neutral statement indeed.
I would like the stats to be flipped around. I think probably it'd be nice if it was a 4-3,
Right,
5-3, 5-4.
Yeah.
Just as a matter of taste, but
I feel like it would be super good if it was one cheaper, maybe.
Yeah, that 4 cost pushes it into a not necessarily a first turn purchase.
Yeah. You want to be like you say, you want to be recycling this often generally if you want to make use of that ability. But I think it's decent, but without being solidly good. But there's
Cyclops.
of course, let's move on to Cyclops. Peter.
We have Cyclops First Class, a 5-cost bolt with the X-Men affiliation, with the classic 142, 153, 164 stat line. He has the Founder keyword. That's the first one that we've encountered. And he has an ability which also deals with Founders. While he's active, when you feel the character die with Founder, deal 2 damage to target character die.
Okay. And your thoughts are, Peter?
I don't think this is the card that's going to make Founder a thing.
What, do you want to? I mean, because this is a keyword, but it's a keyword without an ability, isn't it? Do you want to explain a little bit about Founder?
Founder is a little bit like an affiliation, but it's not. And so a card can have Founder and have not trigger on Founder. But this one has the Founder keyword, and it also triggers off other Founders. Some cards just have the keyword, some cards just trigger off them, I think. But the interesting thing is, I think it's been announced that we might find Founder in other sets, like Founder for the Avengers, for example, and then you can combine them as a sort of affiliation, but not. So that's
cross affiliation, so to speak.
So that would be pretty cool if you get that.
Yeah.
There is a 2-cost beast Founder. I was just scrolling back. So you can get cheap Founder.
Yeah, for sure.
Founder.
But getting a 5-cost out to deal 2 damage to target character dice when you feel the Founder. If it had been character die or opponent, maybe would have been cool. But
6 damage across the board. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Every time I feel the beast.
Cool.
Yes, I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. But I don't think there's much in the way of other sort of Founder action in a way, is there really? It's sort of like Beast. Beast is the one, isn't it, that really goes off. We haven't talked about Beast, but it's the uncommon Beast that keys off the Founder keyword. The uncommon beast has the Founder keyword. I know, but I'm just referencing why Founder might be useful. That does a thing with other Founders. So
tune in next time to find out what thing it does.
Yeah.
It does some stuff. In Spug's words, it does stuff.
There's stuff that might be happening with stuff and
when you
for
do stuff. Yes.
And it's pretty good stuff. But so Cyclops, another to join the list of so far average cards, it seems.
Another
James,
damp squid.
Yes, a damp squid indeed. Do you want to, James, give us Duken or Deken or Duken, however you want to pronounce it?
Is it? Yeah, Dave Ken.
Dave.
Emperor. He's a 4-cost shield. He's got the villain affiliation, and I'm assuming is that the Shi'ar affiliation? Probably.
Yes. Presumably.
Yeah. That sort of, what is it? Is it like whatever? It's a crest or something.
Yeah.
He's got stats of 044, 155, and 266. That's not bad, is it? That's pretty good.
No.
Max 4 dice, and his text reads, when Dave Ken attacks, prep a die from your used pile. That's actually pretty good. That's a good ability.
Yeah.
And quite good stats. And that almost warrants a 4-cost. Yeah, I could see that getting. Certainly in draft.
For sure.
You're not going to necessarily want to let him through too many times. So, if he had a really low attack, then you wouldn't. The ability would be much less useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep pushing with Dave Ken, and you get to prep loads of stuff from your reuse pile, which you've just bought. That's nice.
Yeah.
He likes it.
I actually do like that.
Sort of just a much better version of the Corsair, right? Because I was saying about the Corsair, it's not repeatable.
Yeah.
Whereas this is incredibly repeatable because your opponent is going to have to block it at some time.
Yeah.
And then you're putting it into the use pile. I mean, you have to buy it first. So it's not. The timing is a little bit not as open as the Corsair. But yeah, this is really good. I think this is well worth your time, especially in drafts. But I think even outside of draft, this could see some meta play just for its stats alone, as well as the ability. Get it out early enough, and then you can do it at least 2 or 3 times a game, probably.
Yeah. And do you mention the stats, Peter? Where does it? How do the stats stack up?
This one lands a solid 2.0 on the Homesh scale.
Oh, right.
So that is very good.
Not as good as the Angel.
Not as good as the Angel, relatively speaking, but still. It's the 2-cost fielding on level 3 kind of hurts it.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's really, really, really good stats paired with this ability.
This is one of those you want to get that Colossus Energize effect, field it at level 1, or field it and then spin out to level 3.
Yeah.
Get it for free at level 3, I suppose.
Yeah. A bit of Yawning Portal so you can field it for free anyway. And
Mutation.
Oh, yeah. Let's put it in, yeah.
Probably the best card so far, maybe the Beast, but this is definitely the best.
One of the best.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
It's a thumbs up. It's a red letter day.
DMU seal of approval.
I'll be messing with it, yeah, so I'm pretty happy about this card.
Excellent. Ben, do you want to give us Dark Phoenix then? We'll move on to the titular character of this set, shall we? Exciting times.
Phoenix is Malevolent, 7-cost Bolt, villain affiliation. So Dark Phoenix costs 1 less to purchase if your opponent has any X-Men character dice on their team. Presumably that means just anywhere on their team, not necessarily in the field as well.
Yeah.
When fielded, KO target character die. If it's an X-Men character die, do your opponent 4 damage, so you could KO your own character dice as well.
Yeah.
And it's global, pay a bolt, and KO one of your character dice. Next die you purchase this turn costs 2 less, to a minimum of 1.
I feel like we might have talked about that global before.
Which is amazing to have back, one of my favourite globals of all time.
Yeah.
It's so versatile, isn't it? 'Cause you can do it on your opponent's turn to KO stuff.
Yeah.
You can do as many times as you want, and then it also gives the reduction. So yeah, this card is pretty sick. Has a win condition kind of built in if you have other cheap X-Men character dice. Will help you kind of cycle them with the kind of Cyclops. We were talking about the founder getting X-Men dice kind of cycled like that.
Yeah.
Could also be useful. I'm sure there's better utility, but yeah, that's another idea as well. And then they don't even have to have the X-Men character die on their team active for the kind of reduction. So big thumbs up.
I was going to say that 4 direct damage is a lot, even outside of draft. In draft, I would normally avoid 7 cost, but since it has the global, then you might well get to it. Just knock out a couple of psychics, and it becomes affordable.
I like the fact that the dark, even with the good global. So this global is going to be on people's teams.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have a choice.
Everybody's team.
Not talking too far ahead. I mean, yeah, almost. But some of the other rarities have good abilities as well. But this is definitely up there with them and a viable thing as a common. So even if you don't get the rare, you have a good choice for a Dark Phoenix Global that you might actually want to buy as well.
Yeah.
And a thing you could build a team around. You could totally build around X-Men character dice you want to KO.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny enough. There are a few, aren't there, X-Men characters in this expansion? Yeah. I'm just wondering, are there any? I'm just trying to have a quick look through. I don't think there's any that I can see so far that key off when KO'd abilities though. Like you couldn't KO another X-Men character to do something.
I feel like they're cutting back on when KO'd abilities. Is that just me?
Oh, but there's the Moira, actually.
I mean, they probably know, but they probably knew the Dark Phoenix Global was coming, right?
Yeah. There's the uncommon Moira who says, she gives a buff to your X-Men character, but when Moira is KO'd, she's a 3-cost shield. When Moira is KO'd, prep a die from your use pile. That in combination.
That's good.
With that Dark Phoenix global and the Dark Phoenix ability is really cool. Because you're prepping dice, you're doing
7
damage.
cost, so I don't know how often people are actually going to buy it. But you could legitimately do that as a win. You can field it 5 times, you win the game. It's not amazing, but...
Well, and obviously her own global makes her more affordable.
Yeah.
So she's good. Thumbs up again. That's 2 in a row.
Okay, Spug, next one's for you, because I know you quite fancy it. Deadpool, number 1 draft pick, is a 4-cost fist with the X-Men and the Deadpool affiliations, and his text reads, if this game is in the draft format, at the start of the game, pick a card on your team. That card costs 1 less to purchase this game to a minimum of 1. Spug, what do you reckon about that?
I really like this. I think this is really cool. And obviously it's a common, so you would hope that in draft it'd be fairly easy to get hold of. You don't even have to have him active. Another thing I really like about it is the fact that it changes the basic rules of the game in a way, because I don't think we've ever seen a card that does anything like this without just merely by being on your team, without you having to kind of
maybe Spider-Man,
do anything with them.
Ultimate, whatever it is, team up Spider-Man, sort of similar in the game.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to buy him or anything.
All the affiliations. But you would have to buy him to get him in the field, I suppose, wouldn't you? You'd want him.
They both happen before the game starts, effectively.
True. Yeah. But I mean, I really like. Just in draft. If you just think of we haven't obviously loads of the cards we haven't really spoken about, but there's things like there is a beast that we haven't discussed yet that preps dice when when he attacks, and if you can buy those for 1 each time, that could be so cool. And there are just loads of characters that we've already spoken about that we thought if they were slightly cheaper they might be a lot better. And I really like that, and I like the fact that with this you can obviously change which card you discount each match you play. You might play a match and think, I'll try discounting that one, and then you face up against somebody else and you change it to a different one. So I really like this. What do others think?
My particular favourite thing about this is the kind of I want to say bravery. I don't know if that's the right word. I think the kind of the designers of the game are still thinking about the game. It's not just a generic kind of deal 1 damage when you attack, which is, I think, uncommon. But never mind. Yeah. But stuff like this, and then the I'm going to forget his name now, from Infinity Gauntlet that lets you copy an Avenger. The rare Moon Knight. Thank you very much. That one with the Deadpool, and then Hellfire Gala, where they're adding kind of new win conditions in. Actually has me enthused about the idea that they're thinking about the game still. They're not just kind of churning out product. They're actually taking time to consider it. I love this is what we wanted more from the Deadpool set, right? I think that's why that kind of got a bad... That Deadpool set is not as bad as people think it is.
No.
But I think people wanted more of this kind of... That's what you want from Deadpool. You want him to break the meta. You want him to kind of mess with stuff outside of the norm. And the fact that it references a format and is only useful in one format. I kind of hope they would have... it'd been really cool if the other Deadpools had also done stuff like that. It doesn't look like they're going to. But it would have been cool if in Constructed, one of your cards is 1 less on another rarity.
Yeah, we haven't seen... at the time of this recording, obviously not all the cards have been spoiled, and the Deadpool rare was one of those. It has a subtitle of Collect This, which I think is quite cool. So I don't know why it's got that.
I don't know if it has something to do with the collector. Again, it's just kind of, it's nice, but this card isn't brilliant, I don't think. But in drafts,
all of the titles so far. Sorry, all of the subtitles. Both of the subtitles so far are they are breaking the fourth wall. So maybe the fact. The title of the rare actually refers to something that it does. Maybe. Well, I suppose the
could be collector
already. Some of them.
No, I like because I think the Deadpool cards previously have kind of broken the fourth wall.
Yeah,
it's the fact that the card text also does that. It's very cool.
It's good fun. It's a good fun.
Yep.
All right, shall we move on to Deathbird? Peter, back to you.
Yes, we have Deathbird Treacherous. It's a 2-cost shield with the villain and Shi'ar Empire affiliations. Stats not impressive: 011, 012, 134, but it has deadly.
Oh yeah,
so that's always useful.
That is.
It's a max 2 though, so outside the draft maybe not great. But cheap deadly dice can be very useful.
Yeah,
you say the stats are not great, but she's got great fielding costs.
Fielding costs are like,
right.
yeah.
Fielding is decent, but it's you're not going to be attacking with this, except if it's level 3.
But you'd want to be getting your opponent's stuff to attack into her, wouldn't you? So that she could kill it. Obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, the deadly keyword means that if this engages with another character, blocking or attacking, that character will be KO'd at the end of the turn, regardless of whether it's had enough damage. So that is really cool. A way of removing your opponent's stuff if you can get them to attack into her or get that particular die to block or whatever. And I feel like this is, I mean, it seems like a lot of the other deadly ones that we've had have been quite a bit more expensive. I mean, I'm thinking of the Grey Hunter, which is another one of those ones that's in modern at the moment, but the fielding costs for that are horrific. Yeah. I mean, it has better stats, but
I think the Grell is 011, is that right?
011, yeah, it is, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I particularly like when a new affiliation has cheap stuff.
Yeah.
That always makes them a little bit more appealing. So the Shi'ar Empire, the fact that it has the 2 costs we know about, which is okay. Yeah, I mean, this probably isn't going to see a ton of play, but
no.
Nice.
And it is a bird of sorts.
Yeah.
It's a new bird. And mark one up to the bird watchers. And speaking of which, James, do you want to give us Emma Frost?
Speaking of birds.
Excuse me? What?
No, not speaking of birds. Speaking of bird watchers is what I said.
Oh, she's a bird.
Yes.
No, okay.
No, you're a bird. Good
Emma
grief.
Frost likes to watch birds. She's influential in the bird watching world. She's a 4-cost shield, and she has the Hellfire Club affiliation. She's got her regular stats, which are 135, 146, and 257. And her text reads, while Emma Frost is active, your psychic dice get +1 attack, +1 defense, and gain the Hellfire Club affiliation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously in draft, that's a good one. I'd have that.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'd take that. Flying psychics and that in it, except I don't know if we have a way of making them unblockable. But the fact that they gain an affiliation as well opens up potential shenanigans. I don't know if there's anything which triggers off Hellfire, but
I don't think I've seen everything that does. But there might be.
But there are still unspoiled cards as we record this, so you never know.
I mean, I think
there must be some reason for it.
She's the only Hellfire affiliated card in the whole set so far that we've seen.
No. Is she?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Wait, isn't there a Madeline Pryor that does something with Hellfire Club affiliated things in the X-Men box thing?
Yeah, you might be right, but I'm pretty sure. No.
Magneto gives non-Magneto Hellfire character dice +2 attack, +2 defense, which is kind of...
Oh, there you go.
What?
That's something.
Wait.
Magneto
That's
from
pretty good,
X-Men
isn't it?
Forever. Yeah, X-Men Forever, Magneto Grey King, 5 costs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
While he's active, your non-Magneto Hellfire character dice get +2 attack, +2 defense. So that, with the...
That's 4 attack, 4 defense psychic.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
right
pretty
with
cool. That's out of
Yeah,
set, isn't it? Obviously, Magneto, did you say that's from X-Men? Forever, yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay, Emma Frost, pretty good. Shall we move on to Forge, Ben?
We shall. So Forge is more than firepower. A 3-cost bolt with the X-Men affiliation. Normal Forge stats: 122, 142, 244. When fielded, if you spent a bolt energy to field Forge, prep a die from your bag. No one cares. It's just the problem with Forge is you have to pay the bloody fielding costs on that 244.
Yeah. Horrid.
So sure, you have to do a little bit of a prep. Prepping that your opponent doesn't have access to is good.
Yeah.
But the benefit you're getting out of it, I'm not sure it's worth. Just buy the die you want to buy and then don't have this. Buy the die you prep and then you won't have this. Like, you're just wasting your space. a die, the stats aren't good enough to cover it.
No. It feels like he's too expensive for the benefit he gives. I mean, it's very specific, isn't it, in terms of the particular type of energy that you spend. And
I mean, this would be great synergy with the Dark Phoenix Global if it was just a 0/1/1 die. And then you could do that with the turn of Dark Phoenix Global, KO it, keep cycling it, keep prepping dice, keep reducing. But 1/1/2, you're not getting enough benefit.
Not recommended.
Wasn't there? Yeah, wasn't there also a forge that was also a 3-cost that would just prep a die when you fielded it without having the stipulation of having used a bolt?
Potentially, I know the one that I know of is the one that reduces action dice.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, but there were others in that set.
Yeah, and no one used that though. Yeah, when fielded, draw and roll a die actually, so that was kind of like...
Oh, it's your own roll. Oh, okay, that's not as good.
Yeah.
Not as good, generally speaking.
Well, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Which Peter is the return of a character that we've not seen since the very first Dice Masters set, Avengers vs. X-Men. Who is it, and what's the ability?
It is Gambit, Ace in the Hole. That's a straight up preprint, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is.
So he says, when fielded, you may draw and roll a die, and on a burst phase, instead you draw 2 dice, roll 1, and return the other to your bag. He has a 1/1/1, 1/2/2, 2/4/4 stat line.
Yeah.
And he is a 3-cost mask with, of course, the X-Men affiliation. Yeah, I mean, people liked this back in the day, but I nenever really did because you were always paying 1 to roll 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was good because it was the only thing that did it.
And then
once you got, as soon as Uncanny X-Men came out or some other better things came out, you're like, this is kind of terrible.
Yeah, totally.
Only one thing has changed from the original card. Well, apart from the artwork in the text, and that
it doesn't specify.
That you place it in your reserve pool, the die you roll.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting bit of evolution that people kind of know that already.
Yeah.
They actually specified at some point in the rules. This is what I was talking about, sort of default things. If it does say somewhere. If it doesn't say, then that's where you're supposed to put it or something. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a.
Gambit Toad in the Hole would be much better. He's making a nice roast dinner.
I once made vegan Toad in the Hole, which was an interesting disaster.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Toad in the Hole, for our American listeners, is a sort of savoury pancake batter, kind of. It's like a 3-dimensional pancake, but savoury. And it has sausages in it.
Sounds good.
Wicked.
Sounds good.
It's good. It's really good.
It is cool. So basically, to go return to the card, this is a totally, almost word for word, apart from that specification that Ben mentioned, a reprint of the card, the common card from AVX. So, and that wasn't really very good then, and it's not very good now.
In draft, it's okay. I will give it that. It's not 2/4/4 is okay.
I mean, Forge has a 2/4/4 on the 3. I don't know.
But again,
James,
I'd write a big Forge.
Just make it cheaper when fielded effects, not have such high fielding costs.
Yeah.
0/1/1, this card would be pretty decent.
Gladiator.
Thank you, James.
5 costers with the Shi'ar affiliation. His subtitle is Psi Resistance. He's got great stats. And weird stats at that.
Really good.
Is 055, 166, and 077. I'm looking forward to the home mash value of this. And he's got the text Intimidate. And I like that. I like a bit of Intimidate.
Good so far. Yeah, good so far.
Without any sort of reservation, though it is a 5 cost. And his global says, I'm sorry. Pay a fist when you attack. Your character dice can't be the target of action dice or global abilities until end of turn. Pay a fist and you can stuff your flipping distraction up your butt.
Yeah.
I think that's what it says. That's I think that's pretty good.
Do you think?
I quite like that. As it goes. I like Intimidate. I like it without conditions. His stats are amazing, and he's got a ridiculous global. That's a win.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs help. Obviously, he needs, Overcrush or something. But I mean, Intimidate is a good start.
Yeah.
I was thinking about which one because if you wanted to have this global on your team and all of the rarities have it, I was thinking which one I would pick. And it would be that one. Because,
Is it?
Who doesn't want a bit of Intimidate? For me, anyway.
I think the rare is better, but we'll come to that when we
it's not.
no, but it is. But yeah, I mean, how do we feel, Peter, about the return of what the old Doom Caliber Knight Global as it was?
It's kind of gross. Yes. This is one of those globals that a lot of us expected to never return to the game. Because it was awful, and now it's back.
Yeah.
Well, now it's back in a meta which is just full of the worst. Like, at least when Doom Cal was around, that meta wasn't just Overcrush Central and Godcatcher. Do you know what I mean? You're just dumping this in the middle of
Godcatchers.
Yeah.
This is a control player's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
It's just...
Yeah, you can do nothing.
So I'll be switching to combat-only teams from now on.
Yeah, it's just death of the direct damage team.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like this is a bit of a big shift again, towards combat damage. I mean, obviously they did that with the WWE set and the ridiculously overpowered Becky. I mean, Jimmy from WizKids admitted, didn't he, that it was basically part of a conscious effort to move towards more combat damage centric teams and all that kind of stuff. Exactly. And this is just, the sort of the cherry.
At least make it 2 fists or something. Fine, have this really strong global, but make them pay for it, not just a single fist.
I mean, I suppose the one...
or make it a single character at least, not all of your character dice.
I suppose the one slight...
That's
the slight caveat
true. I didn't
is...
even think about that, yeah.
What's that?
It's all your characters can't be the target of action dice with abilities.
Yeah. And the other thing is, of course, with the Jerry Lawler... the global, you can't, which doubles the attack value of one of your characters. You can't use it after you've used this because you can't target your own character anymore. So at least
Jerry
there's
Lawler
that.
Is a blocked character? Is that
yeah,
the reason?
It has to be blocked. Yeah, and obviously the timing.
But you can use the
won't work.
action though, because that doesn't target.
Yeah, but that's that. I mean, at least that's a little bit, I suppose.
I think. Yeah,
I
but
think.
that's something. But it's crazy strong. This
Who
global.
needs Jerry Lawler when you've got what's his name, Rare Cable? I know 6, but
Oh, you're getting ahead of us. You're getting ahead of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Gladiator, I mean, love it or hate it, and I think a lot of people are not going to love it, particularly as has been pointed out, the control players out there, it's their worst nightmare, really. But this is most definitely going to have a major effect on the meta going forward, without doubt. I wonder if we're going to get like a Blackbird global back or something like that, the one that enabled you to switch off other globals. I wonder if something like that might return one day.
That'd
Who
be
knows?
interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, but this is definitely going to have a major effect, one way or the other. We will see exactly how. Ben, do you want to?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to say something?
Just the home ash score on this is a 2.25.
Oh yeah, we didn't say.
Pretty good.
That's the best, isn't it, in the whole set?
So far, yes.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
We should pick the pace up a little, I suspect.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should. So, Ben, Iceman.
Iceman, Icy Interference, full cost bolt, X-Men affiliation, has normal Iceman stats. When Iceman attacks, spin target opposing level 1 character die to an energy phase. I read this and I thought it was super good, and then I read it again after Peter told me it wasn't very good, and then I thought it said you could spin all level 1 character dice to an energy phase, which would have included sidekicks.
Yeah, that would have been really good.
Which would have included sidekicks. That would have been really good. It's only 1 character dice, so this is not very good.
Yeah. No, it's too specific, isn't it? I mean, basically, you can get Spider-Man for exactly the same cost.
Yeah.
With
and
better
spin
stats
anything down.
for attacking characters.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Jean Grey Peter.
Jean Grey, Peaceful Coexistence, forecast bolt. She has the 133, 255, 366 stat line, and she has Founder. And while she's active at the end of each of your turns, if no character dies for KO that turn, put a loyalty counter on Jean Grey's card. And loyalty counters give a character die +1 attack and +1 defense. So like sort of like the experience counters. It doesn't seem great at first because she has horrible fielding cost.
Oh, yeah.
But I have done the home hash calculations. So initially it's a 1.56, but every turn that she gets on each of her turns that nothing gets killed, she gets a loyalty counter. Each loyalty counter adds 2.33 to her home hash score. So once she hits 2 counters, she is above 2, and so that would be good.
Okay.
But
So
if
eventually
you get her,
she might get it.
Yeah, if you get her early enough and then just leave her in the field, if you were doing some kind of...
Oh,
Yeah.
good grief. Balls to that. Firstly, there are better Jean Greys, and secondly, there are better characters with better stats out of the box without having to pay stupid fielding.
Okay, but you can build you could build a team around her, which is interesting. I'm thinking about
It has
it'd be
potential.
kind of fun to make sure it gets like 14 loyalty counters, so it's a 20 attack by itself.
There are basic actions which play with loyalty counters, so that might be interesting, but by and large, no thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like with the Dark Phoenix Global making a return, the chances of there being no characters KO'd on a dice
Definitely not
are going to be reduced. Yeah.
In Constructed, I think you could maybe make a team around this if Jean Grey was one of your favourite characters or something.
Yeah. All right, James, give us Jubilee.
Jubilee, rebellious nature. She's a 2-cost bolt with the X-Men affiliation. Oh, I've got Energize again. She has irregular stats, I think, 021, 133, and 243. And Energize, if you have less life than your opponent, you may immediately feel this die for free at level 2. So what? If she comes up as a character, when you roll it, you have to pay to field her. Well, on 2 sides. And if she comes up on double energy and you have less life, then you can field it on level 2. That's pretty good for a 2 cost. That's all right. So you get to field her, well, conditionally, you get to field her on 5 out of the 6 sides.
Yeah.
Assuming you have less life. Not bad. Not bad at all. Obviously, the 2 cost on the top level fielding is not very nice, but she's got strong stats anyway for a 2 cost. Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Decent.
I particularly like the you may part of this. The fact that you don't have to immediately field it. The fact that you could choose to not field it,
just
keep the
choose
bolts.
to spend it.
Yeah. I like that.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's true, actually. A lot of Energize abilities are you have to do them. Good. Ben, let's move on to Kitty Pryde.
Kitty Pryde, Rite of Passage, 3-cost mask with the X-Men affiliation. Normal Kitty Pryde stats, which are okay, cheap fielding, and then Awaken, prep a die from your bag, which is kind of a reprint of the Storm from... was that from Deadpool? I mean, from Deadpool? No.
No, that was X-Men First Class.
With the Awaken ability, which I quite liked. Although that was a 2-cost, wasn't it?
Yep.
It does have the mask, which is nice to match with the mutation, polymorph, global. This is okay. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Could be kind of bonkers if you get out early enough and get the right amount of energy, but you're still just paying 1 energy to prep 1 die, at least, at best.
Yeah.
Do we think they've deliberately misspelled right in this?
Right, R-I-T-E.
Because it's,
R-I-T-H.
normally a rite of passage should be R-I-T-E, shouldn't it? Not R-I-G-H.
Let's go with yes. Let's go with yes and move on.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. It's
she has the rite of passage because she can pass.
She can pass. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is a genuine play on words. If so, tip of the hat.
I might include this in the team. It might be an interesting kind of thing to mess around with. You'd have to have something else which triggered off Awaken that was particularly good.
Lilandra, Peter.
Yes, Lilandra, Politician. She is a 3-cost shield with the Shi'ar Empire affiliation. Has some pretty good stats: 133, 135, 156. She has a global that we've seen before on the promo Robin back in the day. You pay shields once per turn. If you have purchased the character die this turn, you may draw a die from your bag and add it to your prep area. I don't know why they have made this so wordy, because we have the shorthand to prep a die from your bag these days, or I think they just copy-pasted it from the Robin or something. Anyway, it's a pretty cool global, and you can build a team that works better with this than your opponent's team, probably. So that's good. And she has pretty good stats. There's 2.08 on the home ash scale.
2.08,
so
pretty good.
Even just for the stats.
It puts the blob and the blink to shame, really, doesn't it?
For sure.
What is the benefit of the global over like Atlas or Resurrection or whatever?
Makes it more difficult.
Is it Magneto? It makes it more difficult for both people. You can prepare for it and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I've used it, I've come a cropper horribly and found that I didn't have enough energy to both pay for the global and buy the bloody character.
I mean, the big thing for the Robin was that it was a Teen Titan affiliation, right?
Yeah, and it had a pretty amazing ability as well.
So,
which is broken.
Would you use this over Atlas? You probably wouldn't for the most part, but if you wanted a Shi'ar character particularly, or you wanted to make it a bit more difficult
in draft,
and then in draft, it's good.
And you get a die that you might want to purchase. Rather than Atlas, which no one ever buys.
Atlas is good. Yeah, I like
Atlas. Is quite all right. It's a Thunderbolt.
Yeah, he's all right.
It's not. I mean, I think
it's level 1 though. Ugh.
Yeah, that's true. But it does have a spin-uppy thing.
Yeah, it does, when you use an action die.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like the Magneto Villainous Pact Global, isn't it? Why would you choose that over the Resurrection Atlas Global?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it offers a little bit more difficulty for your opponent to use that you can prepare for.
Yeah.
Maybe just the energy type more than anything.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, this is a shield, so if you've got a shield team, I suppose. But that's probably a real thing, isn't it? Shall I move on to Madeline?
Please do, yeah.
Madeline Pryor, Dark Influence. She's a 3-cost unaffiliated mask. She's got I don't know what the image on the die is. It's horrible. It continues to be horrible from the previous set. I have no idea. It's a 013, 014, 124, so great fielding. While Madeline Pryor is active, opposing character dice can't use Rush. This was specially introduced into the set to irritate the pants off Nick.
Yes.
Yeah, the only person in the world who uses Rush.
I think we'll all be including this on all of our teams. For the foreseeable
if I am
future.
playing Nick, I am putting this on my team.
Yeah. I feel like this is not going to see any constructed play. Unless Rush becomes really massive in a future set.
You're playing against Nick.
Yeah.
Is there any Rush in the Dark Phoenix?
I haven't seen any.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not something that needs to be countered.
It's like, oh, God, no, Rush is out of control. We need something to rein it back in.
Maybe they put this in just in case someone really broke Rush and they were like, oh, we need to counter this.
Maybe.
No, it's not happened
I
yet.
like Madeline Pryor dice. It's her little face.
It's her face.
Yeah. With like 2 horns.
I still
it looks like a rhino sideways.
See, the outline is her hair with a big swoosh at the end. And the darker part is like her face, the little dot in the middle, the yellow dot in the middle is her eye. And she has 2 big horns.
Okay.
Please do have a look at your own cards or the spoiler guide.
That's what it was in the other one.
It's a rhino.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sigmund Freud might have a field day here, but
I like Madeline Pryor in the X-Men X-Men whatever it was in before.
Forever?
X-Men Forever, that one. Yeah, good stats in that. She might have, cheap masks, but she's a 3-cost here, and an ability that's not relevant, so probably not.
Should we move on to Magic and Ben?
Magic, wielder of the Soul Sword, 3-cost mask with X-Men affiliation. 014, 016, 127, the old Magic stats from Uncanny X-Men. When fielded, the next action die you purchase costs 1 less. Again, when fielded, effect with cheap fielding is always good.
Yeah.
I don't like the stats. I wish they were flipped, which would be really good.
Yeah.
You could flip them yourself.
You could flip them yourself.
Is there a stat flip?
Yeah, we still have Bizarro.
Oh, Bizarro,
which I like.
Yeah.
So in constructed, yes. In draft, it depends on the action dice, I suppose you get. This is okay, middle ranking for me.
Yeah,
but I like Magic.
Let's not spend too much time on it, shall we? And move on to Magneto.
Well,
no, let's not. Peter.
Right, Magneto, Idealist. He's a 6-cost mask with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants affiliation. His ability reads: when one of your mask character dice is KO'd, put a loyalty counter on Magneto's card. You could trigger this multiple times a turn.
Yeah.
I suppose this is more reliable than not having anything KO'd. And he has the global pay a mask once per turn during your turn. If you have no dice in your prep area, you may draw a die and place it in your prep area.
Yeah.
So this one needs a little more work to get a decent home ash score with loyalty counters. He needs 3 loyalty counters to be worthwhile.
Right.
Because he is a 6-cost after all. But it's probably easier to get the loyalty counters on this one.
He's just there for the global.
But he's there for the global. That's not.
Nobody's going to pay for that trash.
Just to clarify,
ability.
Does he have to be active in order for the loyalty counter to be active to be added? Because it doesn't specify that.
I know, but if it doesn't specify, it means it needs to be.
Then probably, unless it's some sort of discount. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so we get to keep the Villainous Pack Global for a bit longer, at least, which is good. But we're not thinking that many people will be fussed about the actual card itself.
It's kind of a little bit like the other one, the Jean Grey. You could build a team around this if you wanted to, which is cool, but yeah, not really.
Yeah. Should we move on to Master Mold? James, I think it's back to you, is it?
Master Mold, Inexplicable Durability. Great name. 5-cost shield with a villain affiliation. 155266388.
Thanks.
When fielded, deal 2 damage to all X-Men and Brotherhood character dice. 5-cost when fielded. It's alright. Draft, I suppose. Outside of draft, it's irrelevant.
In draft, it's okay.
Yeah, I think so. That's not going to see any.
As a late round pick. You're kind of happy
exactly.
with this if it's your last pick. You'll be like, sure.
The fielding costs are horrific.
Yeah.
And not that useful. All right, let's move on, Ben. You get Mr. Sinister.
I do. Mr. Sinister, Geneticist. 5-cost bolt with a villain affiliation. 141-252-263. The old, again, Uncanny X-Men stats. When fielded, KO's 2 target psychic dice. When Mr. Sinister KOs an opposing character die, you may pay 1 life. If you do, your opponent loses 1 life. As a global, pay double bolts. Target non-psychic character dice gains deadly.
Yes.
I'm not that excited about this global, but I'm excited that Mr. Sinister all has different globals. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Probably the least good for me. I don't really like deadly that much. I know you guys disagree with me a little bit on that. This is okay. I don't like Mr. Sinister's stats at all.
Nope.
I always found him a bit unwieldy, but I guess you're not buying him particularly.
At least he's a when-fielded character with fairly weak defense.
That's true. I've just been complaining about that, haven't I?
Yeah. Be consistent, please.
It would be nice if you had low fielding costs.
It would. Which is the other thing. But yeah, you're not going to get that much out of this. You can pay 1 life to deal your opponent 1 life. I mean, if it dealt damage to you, then maybe it's a bit more manipulatable.
Yeah.
But I'm not loving this, really.
No. Yeah. Fair enough. But we certainly, I think, will be discussing probably some of the other globals that Mr. Sinister is offering, as you already mentioned, Ben, in future episodes. So stay tuned for that. Peter, do you want to give us Moira?
Yes, Moira. It's not a dream. 2-cost shield with the X-Men affiliation. She has 001, 012, and 122 stats. And this one might actually be meta-relevant. While Moira is active, when an opponent fields a continuous action die, re-roll it. If it lands on an action phase, they may field it normally. Otherwise, send it to the used pile.
Yes.
So this is a straight I keep forgetting the name.
The Godcatcher.
Godcatcher counter.
Yeah. It's a Godcatcher killer, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's half of the time at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Switch, isn't it? That sort of thing.
It is.
Yeah, Switch was better.
It manipulates it at a time. Yeah, sure, but still, this is irritating.
It is.
It's enough
I
to
suppose
potentially put people off.
For
The
sure.
question I have about this: so you know, people use Godcatcher's dice to trigger Godcatchers already in the field.
Yeah.
Does the field? I suppose you do field the continuous action, so you would use it, wouldn't you? Even if it doesn't.
No, because I don't know.
If they have a
'cause it
Godcatcher
gets
in the field
interrupted.
already.
Mm.
If they have a Godcatcher in the field already, and then you use a Godcatcher dice to try and field it, and then that rolls back to an energy phase, would you trigger the Godcatcher that's already in your field?
I don't know. I think it sort of the wording is a bit unclear, but it seems to me that like the fielding gets interrupted because
Yeah,
it says if it lands on an action phase, they may field it normally. So otherwise, it doesn't actually get fielded.
Mm.
In
But
that
they
case,
could
it's
have worded
badly
that better. Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When an opponent would field, surely that's the normal wording.
Yeah.
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 I think it's a little bit. Yeah, no, it does need ruling because that makes it it gives it
Makes
that
a lot
little
of difference.
extra, a little bit extra on the Godcatcher killer side. I mean, it's already pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what effect she has on the meta, even if people don't use her. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, if people just decide to include her in their team, she's obviously a 2-cost. She's a shield. She's obviously very useful.
people will definitely use it.
Yeah, she's very useful against Godcatcher, but not very useful at all against other things.
Yeah.
So, and obviously we've already mentioned her uncommon that prep stuff when she's KO'd. So it'd be interesting to see to what extent she does dissuade people from playing Godcatcher and how that works. But
And
you
also you
imagine
have the fact that she's very low. I wonder if maybe Godcatcher teams will start running some kind of pingy one blow just so they can kill her.
No.
Yeah, exactly, because she's got only 2 defense on her max.
Yeah, it's a good thing she's not an ally. Because otherwise that Hawkeye would still work against her.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But she definitely is going to be
dead and gone.
Yeah.
She definitely seems to be meta relevant. So shall we move on to Mystique? James?
Yes. Not the most interesting Mystique, I suspect. Mystique Relentless, 2-cost mask, always good. X-Men affiliation. Same weird stats as usual. I think 1-1-1, 0-1-1, and 2-1-1. And the text is while Wolverine is active, Mystique gets +2 attack. Nice and thematic, but otherwise not hugely interesting. Yes, you could get 2 attack buff on your horrible stats. And the global is pay 2 masks, target character die can't block this turn if it shares a team affiliation with a character card on your team. Kind of interesting. Sort of relentlessly, and she was on the relentless card, wasn't she? With Wolverine.
Good point.
Indeed.
But it's 2 masks and there's a condition attached, which in draft is probably kind of useful because they probably will share an affiliation. But outside of that, wait though, radicalization global might make that actually relevant, although it's 2 masks still.
So you got to pay 4 masks
with a character card on your team. So if you have so radicalization, I think the global says you can pay something or other.
Oh yeah, make something a Brotherhood or an X-Men character. Yeah.
Right, so
a mask, I think.
That could actually be.
If you have like 20 energy lying around, yeah.
All right.
You're going to need a lot of energy. Yeah. Let's Ben, give us Phoenix, please.
Well, can I just say that
Yes,
Mystique with if Bishop was as good as it could have been, the common, if it had Iron Will, something like that, to stop Overcrush, this would be a nice counter to that.
Yeah.
Right.
To this next madness. If
the world was a completely different place.
Well, just saying.
If oranges were lemons. And
Phoenix
Firepower. Please.
6-cost Bolt, X-Men affiliation with the same stats as Dark Phoenix. So when fielded, deal 3 damage to target character die. Energized, deal 2 damage to target character die or player. So no matter what you're doing, you're dealing damage somewhere. I wish the when fielded ability was deal 3 damage to target character die or player.
Yeah.
I'd probably make this maybe not meta relevant, but definitely casual play relevant.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's too expensive for a 6 cost. Fun ability makes sure you can do damage on most sides apart from the level 1. The single energy. But not really particularly relevant to anything. In draft, probably an okay last end of draft pick.
Yeah. And particularly when you've got the, when you've got that Dark Phoenix that can do 4 damage with not too much greater investment, you kind of feel like that's way better than this, even in this set.
So again, you're kind of just hoping for the energize effect, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. You don't want to field her, particularly when she's a 1-2-3 fielding cost.
I will say the 3 damage, because 3 damage isn't really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
A few years ago, that 3 damage threshold was massive because you had Shriek, Scarlet Witch, all with 3 defense. So that 3 that was a perfect number. It's not so much anymore. Stats have gone up.
No. Indeed. Peter, Professor.
Sorry to interrupt.
You can.
I've been thinking about Mystique again because if you've got your overcrushing double Wendy, it's not Wendy, it's Becky, or whatever, and the other person has got their annoying Jopper or that other one from Warhammer,
Mastermind,
which they can just stick and not take take 1 damage or whatever it is. 3 energy might not be a bad thing to prevent them, basically to negate the benefit of them ever buying that. That might be right. Anyway.
Yeah, except that with Becky you roll out that Jopper anyway, so...
there's that.
Who cares?
Yeah. We should move on. Professor X, Peter.
He's rubbish. Move on to the next one.
It's kind of rubbish. It's cool that it does something when you field them and when you have Energize, but it's not worth the cost for you. If you spend an X-Men die to field Professor X, prep a die from your bag, and he has Energize, move an X-Men die from your use pile or to your prep area.
Yeah. But it's a 5 cost.
For a 5 cost and those stats.
Spoilers, all of the bloody Professor X's are trash.
What a shame.
Nice colour die.
Doesn't even have a global, this one.
James is Psylocke.
Psylocke 2-cost mass with the X-Men affiliation. Subtitle Adventurer, regular stats, regular die, almost identical. 012, 022, 133. While Wolverine is active, Psylocke gains Deadly. Another friend of Wolverine. When fielded, spin target character die up 1 level. Well, it's alright, I suppose. The abilities are not completely useless. She doesn't have much of an attack. So, Deadly might not be the concern unless you're force attacking them. Sorry, go on.
You can only give 2 costs such a bad rate. There's a level of, they're 2 costs, so it's kind of fine about what they do.
Exactly. Yeah. If they were blank, it wouldn't be, it's alright. Yeah, she might be useful if you need masks. And she's got decent fielding.
Yeah, I think she's pretty decent.
There's a much better Psylocke. So
if you have are any of the Wolverines really good? I mean, it seems like they need to be.
No, they're sadly not. Yeah, but the fact is, we've obviously got the Deathbird in the set that we've already talked about that gets deadly all the time. So if you want a deadly character, you're much better off going with her, really, aren't you, than one that has a particular kind of condition attached to her.
She triggers. She might trigger Awaken.
Spin up is always
bit
useful.
of utility.
Yeah,
and then you can always just spin her up to a 133, which is good.
That is true. Rogue is next up, and Ben, it's your turn.
Mrs. X, 4-cost Musk with an X-Men affiliation. Terrible Rogue stats. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 5, 2, 5, 6.
Whoa.
When fielded, you may swap Rogue's attack with target opposing character die's attack, which is actually a pretty cool ability. One of my favourites when it was a global ability.
Yeah.
And wasn't just limited to Rogue herself, who has okay stats for attack, but that's no. For a 4-cost with a when fielded ability which has 1, 2, 2, that's just terrible. The utility you get out of this you're just hoping for so much to go right to make this particularly useful. It's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Well, there's the global that gives Overcrush to something on one of the Mr. Sinisters.
Sure, but then you're hoping to be able to steal an attack that's less or greater than 5.
Yeah.
Which is not, horrendously unlikely, but
yeah, still.
it's also not particularly predictable or repeatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Ronan, Peter.
Ronan the Accuser. Treason! He is a 5-cost bolt, no affiliation. He has the 155, 167, 288 stats. And when he is fielded, you lose 1 life. Yay. When Ronan the Accuser is KO'd, your opponent loses 1 life.
Hooray.
That's better. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the better Ronans we've seen.
That's not saying much. Yeah.
He deserves better, I think. I mean, I'm not a big fan of his character, but he's had awful cards.
I like the one that stole all villains. That was kind of cool.
That one was pretty cool.
I feel like we've had this discussion before, to be honest. Last time there was a selection of awful ones.
I say it was okay, but it was never used. And this one's worse than that one.
Move on.
Yeah, okay. Ronan is not going to be troubling too many players. So, James, let's take us to Sabretooth.
Sabretooth, am I interrupting? Brotherhood affiliation, 4-cost fist, 133144254. When fielded, KO target Wolverine character die or any target character die with a while Wolverine is active ability. Could that be more specific?
No. And therefore, could it be any more useless?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are better Sabretooth, I think. Move on.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, there are so few decent Wolverines. I mean, I don't know why we've got so many cards that relate to Wolverine when loads of Wolverines are not that great.
Because
So,
he's a Marvel character and everybody's his friend.
I know, but
Sabretooth,
like he's not. Like, make him a good Dice Masters character then. Like if he's like a Becky or something like that. Like if he had Becky type stats, then fine. But he doesn't, so
He does.
He's kind
Wolverine.
of irrelevant. No, not stats. Sorry, if he had Becky like abilities.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got AVX, so that was kind of the best you got.
Yeah. He started good, but then
downhill.
It's all been downhill since then.
The Psylocke has a when Wolverine is active type ability,
Yeah.
which is a when fielded. So I suppose you could actually KO your own Psylocke to kind of repeat that. But it's not worth it.
Ben, let's move on to Storm, shall we?
Storm Extreme Weather, 2-cost bolt, X-Men. Storm's 0210311133. Very lovely stat line. The perfect stat line for a when fielded character, which is when fielded deal 1 damage to target character die.
Yeah.
Good for a 2-cost, little bit of a pingy stuff.
Yeah.
Would be great that dead Bishop Iron Will. The Bishop Iron Will meta.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't exist.
The one I pictured in my head.
Bishop Iron Will
Ben's
meta.
imaginary Iron Will meta.
What about the meta that does actually exist?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's really good in draft. Ping
Yeah.
Really good in draft.
Things like it's good, yeah. In fact, it's max 4 as well. Is nice.
Yeah.
You can buy a bunch of these. They're good stat wise. They'll be KO'd. Keep fielding them. Yeah, good. I mean, the fact is, you could probably just cycle her by pinging her on level 1 and 2, which is nice as well.
Yeah.
It's always nice when they just make it target character die rather than your opponent's dice as well. Give you that flexibility,
for sure.
which I like.
Yeah, she's going to be good. She'll be good in draft, and she could have the bit of a utility on the occasional constructed team. Probably not top level stuff, but yeah, she could be pretty good. Peter, Supreme Intelligence.
Supreme Intelligence Kree Science Council. 6-cost mask, 144, 256, 276 stat line. And he says, when a card with Kree in its name is KO'd, put a loyalty counter on Supreme Intelligence's card. Yeah, that's also not the thing that's going to make loyalty counters work. He starts off at a 1.39 on the home ash scale, and he needs at least 3 counters to be worthwhile. So, yeah, no.
And he's a 6 cost, so you got to buy him, and then you got to KO all these Kree characters that don't even exist in the set. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no,
ridiculous.
I know it's weird. It's really weird. I don't know what he's doing in this set.
The Kree soldiers and stuff might be rotated out by the time this comes out, or soon. Anyway, so no,
it's very strange. James, give us Toad. He's kind of
Toad,
irrelevant.
Secondary mutation, Brotherhood affiliation.
Wait, by the way, sorry, just with the sorry to interrupt. The Supreme Intelligence. This sounds like it would trigger off itself, right?
I don't know. It's Kree in its name, not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not in
That's
the subtitle. I think it needs to be the actual title.
But does it also need to be active as well? Put a loyalty counter on Supreme Intelligence's card because it's referencing the card, not the character. Does that mean if it got KO'd itself, you could maybe put a loyalty counter on it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
Still rubbish.
It is.
In the hypothetical Supreme Intelligence meta, maybe. But
give it Iron Will, surely.
Right. Toad, secondary mutation, 2 cost for Brotherhood affiliation, 1/2/1, 2/3/2, 2/4/4 with 2 burst faces on levels 1 and 2. Awaken, deal 2 damage to target character die. Team Watch, spin Toad up 1 level. It's not the Toad of old, is it?
No.
No.
Dreadful fielding, 3 cost.
Yeah.
No, just no. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not very good.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
If there was a good way to spin up and down, I mean, you could use this to kind of back up to ping Iceman or something like that. That might be.
Yeah.
And then you could, I mean, being able to awaken it on your opponent's turn to KO something on that, I mean, pinging stuff on your opponent's global window is useful.
Yeah. 2 damage, not 1.
I think that's nice.
Useful.
There's something.
Yeah.
So when your opponent passes priority, you can just spin up a bunch of times to KO stuff.
Yeah.
Is interesting.
And okay, actually, so the Team Watch actually triggers its Awaken ability, presumably. So that's actually not bad. Okay, all right. No, it's not the worst, but nor is
it's also not great.
I can see someone messing. I mean, I can see myself trying to mess with this. Just, I mean, you're not being able to ping off Becky's problem, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like another spot on your Brotherhood team, which is going to exist.
I think if you have an Awakened team already set up that is triggering off stuff, this might be worthwhile as a defensive piece.
Yeah. Ben, do you want to give us Vulcan?
I do. Ruler of the Imperium. Live long and prosper. It's a 4 cost fist with a 0/3/2 1/4/4 1/6/5. Pay a fist. Target character die must attack this turn. A nice force attack, nice stats. All round one of the top cards we've seen, which is not brilliant, but nice. Fist force attack is
useful
good.
global for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice having the option of a fist force attack, which isn't limited to once per turn.
Yeah.
And then, lovely stats. 0/3/2 1/4/4 1/6/5. The 0/1/1. It's just so much nicer, isn't it? What do you want?
It is. Yeah, it is.
So much more friendly.
Yeah.
User-friendly.
Do we have a force attack fist global at the moment?
Black
Obviously,
Widow.
we have. Oh right, yeah. Because we've got Doctor Strange with the mask. But,
and then the bolt.
The Black Widow is 1 per turn,
Scott
and
Hill.
the wrestler dude.
Scott Hall, which is the bolt.
Hill.
Wrestler dude.
The wrestler.
So it's nice having the fist force attack back, and it's not limited to once per turn.
Yeah. So that's good. And then finally, Peter, we come to Wolverine.
Wolverine, the star of the set.
Gem in the set.
He is pure of heart. He is a 4-cost fist character with the X-Men affiliation. He has 1/5/2 2/6/3 3/8/4 stats. But if you have no villain character dice on your team, Wolverine is free to field, which makes him a lot more interesting with those stats. So that takes him from a 1.56 home ash rating to a 2.33, which is pretty good. And this particular card, I would have liked to have used on my current 2-team takedown team, which is an orbital strike team centered around X-Men. His stats are amazing for orbital strike. He would have been free to field, and I could have purchased him for 2 with a Kitty Pryde, which would have made him amazing. Outside of that, it's pretty good.
Bloody Wolverine global. Just give him the global.
Why does he not have the global? So good.
Annoying.
Yeah, so just as a spoiler, maybe the rare and super rare versions of Wolverine have the pay a fist once per turn on your turn, prep or die from your bag, the old Atlas Global. But the common and the uncommon, for some reason, don't.
Sadly,
So annoying.
That's a bit of a shame because
would have been spectacular.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, I mean, with the 2.3 on the old Homash scale, that's pretty decent, isn't it?
Yeah, if you care mostly about attack stats, that's even higher. Because his defense is fairly low, but you don't care about that.
No.
So it's probably around a 3 if you only care about attack.
The shame is that if you wanted to, probably to make the most of him, you probably want to have the Mr. Sinister Global that is pay 3, target character die, gains Overcrush, but he's a villain. So
yeah, that's not going to happen.
He kind of gives with one hand and takes away with the other. But
yeah. You can't have everything, but it's pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of the commons. I'm feeling slightly exhausted already, and we've still got all the others to go. But those are the commons. Just quickly, what stands out for people? Are we picking a standout beast? Deken?
David
Gladiator?
Kenneth for me.
Sorry, Ben.
David Kenneth for me.
David Kenneth.
Yeah. David Kenneth.
David Ken is a good one,
yeah, that's pretty good.
What was that one with awesome stats? There was something that was really good. Oh god, it was
the Gladiator. Yeah,
there you go.
Gladiator is pretty strong. Yeah.
Gladiator.
And Dark Phoenix probably gets the shot as well, right?
Yeah, Dark Phoenix, of course. Yeah. We'd be interested to hear from you. What is your what do you think is the best common in this set? Is it the Dark Phoenix? Is it the Gladiator? Is it the Beast? Or is it David Kenneth? We would love to hear from you. Do get in touch with us by using the contact details. James, the best email to use is
hello@dmunited.eu.
Perfect. Broadcasting live from Alexander Palace. This is James Bloor from the BBC. But that is the end of this episode. We are not going to move on to anything else because this has been quite a bumper episode already, and we've only just got through the comments. So we're looking forward to moving on to the uncommons next time. Just to say, if you've enjoyed the episode, it's been great to have you with us, and we'd love for you to give us a lovely review. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be the first to hear about when we've got a new episode. But with that is the end, and we will see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.